may think that why I need this, why I need this class, why I want to come for this class and everything. But one thing I want to tell you that coming to these classes will certainly empower you. Either you'll get some knowledge what the teacher is giving, because the teacher, if he has some strong foundation, he can share whatever the knowledge. It's a sharing of knowledge. Okay, so the knowledge what we acquired, we are sharing. Okay, so we cannot be able to make an architecture for this communication. It's also a data transfer. What we studied, what we experienced, and what we have done for the as a research for the past 15 to 20 years, we are sharing to the students. Okay? That is the call the communication. Okay? And here in the last class we have discussed that how the internet data transmission takes place. Okay? It consisting of n number of individual elements. Okay, like with consisting of so many blocks for internet transmission. We call as a servers, we call them as a routers, we call them as a transmission medium that carry the signals. Okay, and these servers, routers, and mediums are interconnection. Okay, so for while making the interconnections, we can say that that is it follows some protocol. Protocol means it is a procedure. See, whenever a country president or a country king is visiting any country, they follow the protocol. Okay, so protocol is one. They follow that procedure. Okay? They will not. They will not say no to the procedure because the procedure is to be followed. Okay, so we normally call as the statement of purpose (SOP). Okay, how it we have to make use in the step by step. Here also in the internet, it follows the packet switching protocol. This packet will be consisting of a data. So we normally call as a frame relay. We call as a FTU. And this protocol will be standardized by International Telecommunication Union. Okay. So this union will be, so they will be authorizing this one. Okay. So this frame will be consisting of a flags at either sides, and these flags will tell you whether the signal is coming. Okay, and then when the signal is ended, the flag will be get closed. And each and every data, we can say that the data is having some space between 0 to 4096, and each data will have their own address. Address means the location of the data. Okay, and then they will check the frame. Okay, and then it's given to the flag. So this is the way how we are getting the signals. Just I'm talking and you are hearing through mobile phone is not the way. Okay, and even when I'm sending an email, you are receiving the email. Okay, that's what we know. But in the background, okay, whatever the data which I'm sending you, so the flag will be open and the flag will be making my data to enter into this octets. That's a frame relay, and the data is moving like a snake. Okay, that is, it's moving to the next position, next position, next position, and finally it reaches the destination. So this is called as the flags will be consisting of 8 bits, which is located at the beginning and the end of the package, and then this 2 octet byte address field. This address field will consisting of the exact destination of the packet through the network, because the data need to be known. Okay, at which address it has, this letter has to be get posted, and the data field is up to 409096 octets. And then we can able to say that there is a 2 octet frame is given for checking the frames. Okay, let us say that it is called as a error detection. So it will check the error between the calculated data and also the received data. So for an example, so we talk about 20 Mbps and 30 Mbps like that. So we are allocating some kind of range of data to be get received. So if it received more or less, what will happen? So we are can able to make sure that there is some kind of error. So that error calculation. Okay. So if there's some kind of error is occurring, the receiving unit will ask for retransmission. It will stop the data and it will request it will make a request that that is some error has occurred. So this data is not intended for this particular person. So you please send something. Okay. So this protocol is independent, so it can be able to carry the data from any transmission method. One of the transmission method what we are using for our internet is Ethernet. Okay. So these Ethernet packets, so they put the data feed, and then it can able to travel to the destination in an unmodified manner. So the frame relay, what we are using, so it will be leased by telecommunication companies. Okay, so they will we call us a T lines, T1 lines, and T3 lines. Okay, so where we talk about on the equipment that is used in the handling this frame relay. Okay, so it can able to forward your signal. So one of the is frame relay, with the LAN to LAN connections. So when the LANs are separated at the two different company locations, the frame relay will be used in a different perspective. Okay. And this frame relay service is offered by local telecommunication center. As we already discussed that this frame relay, the people they are not using at present. It's not longer a viable service. Okay, because how many frame relay we can able to provide for the individual customers. So it's not a viable service. So then the people they move towards on the ATM, which is called as asynchronous transfer mode. So it uses a very short 53 bytes, where the 48 byte will be for the data. We normally call as a payload. Payload means so it is the useful one, that's called payload, and 5 is called as a header. This header will consisting of your address through which the data to be handled. So any kind of data can be transmitted in this particular way, like voice data, video data, computer data, like that. So it can be transmitted, like a switch that we passes the packets to one network to the other network. So they may be setting the virtual network, and it gives a experience that that is a continuous path for the data from source to destination. This is the one they are using at present. But we normally say that in reality, so most of the packets may take a different parts to network, and even some of the packets will arrive out of order. So this ATM will handle these occurrences such, and it will ensure that that is the data arrives in the desired order. So this ATM network can use almost any physical layer, but most often it is some fiber optic system. So early ATM networks operated between something like 155 to 632 Mbps. Now it was increased to Gbps. Okay, so now we can able to understand that this, even though it was you used predominantly, the frame relay and the ATM are become obsolete, and the people are moved towards on the optical transport system and combination with Ethernet. So this is one of the optical network we call as a SONET. Okay, so where they transmit the telephone calls in T1 format through fiber optic cables. So because we want the signals to be transmitted at the high speeds without any delay. Okay, so the people have transformed. So today, there's a trend away to the SONET. Okay, and many of the new networks even using the OTN networks and then Ethernet. So SONET is the most widely used optical data transmission system in the United States. Okay, so it has been used for the telephone center offices, and also long distance carrier facilities, and also for the long distance data transmission. The people are using this SONET. As per the American Standard Institutes, and also the broader international standard, we call as ASTH, and this only it is later was developed and sanctioned by International Telecommunication Union, and it was used throughout the world. And SONET, it is used for formatting and transmitting the data for long distances. Okay. So this standard will ensure what is the speed. Okay, and this speed is even reaches up to from Mbps to Gbps, the range. So the signal to be transmitted is called as a STS, which is called as a synchronous transport signal. Okay, and it can be available with the various speeds, and the base speed is 51.84 Mbps. And this is the various speeds, so for the various STS, that's a synchronous transport system. STM 1, 3, 12, 48, 192, and 768. So where we can able to see how the allocation of the data rate transfer will be made for the different speed of the various signals, and what is the level of STM. And earlier, the people they are using up to 12 levels, so all these speaks about what is the Mbps or Gbps. and then they elevated to OC768, and then SONET, it uses a time division multiplexing. We know what is meant by multiplexer and demultiplexer. Multiplexing means, the multiple signals are connected and then it takes a single line. That is called multiplexer. So there are two types of multiplexing. One is called time division multiplexing, one is called frequency division multiplexing, whereas the SONET, it uses a time division multiplexing. So the frame consisting of 90 byte rows, and these bytes are transmitted consecutively from left to right and top to bottom, and for the data payload to be taken. So the overhead bytes, it can be consisting of a framing, control, parity, pointer. Everything is used to manage the payload, and this is the way how the SONET will looks like, which consisting of a 20 bytes octets, whereas it makes use of the 87 bytes for the payload. And similarly, with the 3 bytes, it will be useful for the section overlay and then for the address locations. So SONET can operate in the point-to-point link, and also it permits for the multiple sources. The basic transmission speed is, as we already discussed, at 51.84, and also some kind of topology like ring topology and square topology, triangle topology can be used for, and it offers the transmission redundancy, where it can able to ensure that the survivability of a data even when the cable has been cut. So the transmission can be of 51.84 Mbps can be achieved with one SONET frame that's transmitted in 125 microseconds. So if you need a very high speed, what you have to do, you have to make use of the multiple frames. Okay. So most of the today we are using the long distance telephone services and also the internet background, which is made up of large and small number of SONET rings. So these SONET are designed to carry the synchronous voice traffic, and its primary function is no regard to its content. So SONET can carry asynchronous packet switch data from ATM, frame relay, Ethernet, or transport control protocol, or internet protocol equipments. So it carries the signals. So till now, till the slide number 21, we have discussed in our previous class. Now we start our today class. Okay. I just given the summary because directly I cannot take you to the storage area networks. To avoid that, we have taken some journey. Okay, we have taken some journey for this for the storage area networks. Okay, so here we talk about on the storage area network. Storage is a very, very important as far as internet communication is concerned, and is also a very fast growing sequence of data communication. For example, some emails what you have received some 5 years ago, it was still storing. Where it is storing, for you can say that it was stored in your internet, it is stored in your Gmail or Hotmail, whatever the things email you are using. Okay, but where it is stored, okay, normally you should understand that when we have started this online based education, okay, online based education, at the time we have the enough space, enough storage in our Batangas web link. That's a Gmail what they provided. So we asked the students even to send the emails, okay, emails to our emails, the assignments, okay, and also whatever the things the students have been submitting, okay, when we taken to the Google Classroom for our earlier versions, So this is my earlier version when we started for the first course on the electronic circuits. You can able to see, so where we can able to understand that we have to make all the things over here. But what happened, so the accumulation of all the things, the students will be submitting their classworks. Okay, the students will be submitting their homeworks and everything. They will be submitting. Okay, let's talk about on the homeworks and everything. You can see that when I click this drive right now, okay, so you can see that the drive shows an error. Okay, because I deleted all the things which we have started in the 2021. Now we are in the 2025. So let us say that some 5 years ago when we started this, at that time, so we have the enough space. Okay, we have the enough space, and even when we talk about, even if I am interested to see what the students have done right now, it shows an error because the space we have summarily reduced. And even the Gmail, what we are using now, earlier, the students used to communicate with a more number of emails, So now it was restricted only up to a only up to a small space. So what we are doing, so we are taking some kind of folders where the students are activity, some activity only we can able to store it. So I'm storing just on around 85 activities. Okay, so we are just storing some 85 activities right now. Earlier and all, it will go to thousands and thousands and thousands. Okay, so where from university they send the email. Okay, they send the email that you should not hold more number of storage. Okay, so the space is got restricted. The space, so we cannot able to make sure that what kind of space which we can able to provide, because you should understand that I am earlier the students will submit so many better. I'm not discouraging you. That is, the people, they used to submit more number of works, whether I given the works or not. So that is the motor control. Even you see that all the people they have done this particular work for the motor control. Okay, but now even if I'm interested to see those works, okay, to go back their works, there is no space. Okay, so I deleted all the spaces to provide space for the present group of students. Okay, so where we can able to see that if I want to, if I want to store the present works, so all the technologies what we are discussing today class, the internet technologies, so if you want to open this one, I want to make some space. For that I sacrificed the previous materials. So I want to take care of the present set of storage. So everything is uploaded and you can able to see all the things. So the storage plays a very, very crucial role. And similarly, students, so I want to tell you, in this month, the next Tuesday, we are going to see one activity. Okay, so I'll be posting the activity over here in our this particular link, the new announcement. So this coming Friday, we'll be having the class. We'll be having the class, and the next Tuesday class, I'll post that you directly come to the Google Classroom and complete the activity. It's a surprise activity where you can able to see all the instructions. I will post by today. Okay, I will not post on the next Tuesday. I'll post today itself. And also you can able to see that some kind of information, some job opportunities or internship opportunities. I don't know how many students have just seen this one. I don't know. Okay, this is exclusively for the students who are living in Philippines. Okay, it's a company called Hitachi. Okay, so Hitachi, they're making a global meeting. So it is exclusively for the students of Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, kind of 8 Asian countries. So if you're interested, you just apply. Okay, so the last date for applying is November 28th. Okay, you are encouraged to apply early. Okay, so where since it is happening in Philippines. Okay, it's happening in Philippines. So you have a higher scope for. Okay, if you have any questions on this, you can even click this FAQs, and you can able to see the Hitachi website. Okay, so where you can able to understand about what kind of works. You will get some more contacts, the industrial contacts. Okay, so that industrial leaders will come and meet you, the brightest minds of Philippines. So I was just going through this and I thought this will be useful for you peoples. Okay, and I thought this will be useful for you people, so I have just shared this one. And the second one, so I just shared this particular thing also. It's also an internship. So it's a call for virtual exchange program. You don't need to go anywhere. So this is from China. Okay, it's the Office of International Affairs of Chula. Okay, I think it's in Philippines. Philippines or Thailand. No, it's in Thailand. Okay, so the application deadline is December 14th. Okay, so where you can able to apply. Okay, so where you will be in Philippines only. You don't need to travel, but this internship will be through the online system. Okay, so the last date, is December 14th. I expect the students to apply. Okay, so for this virtual series thing. Okay, I don't know whether it is applicable for you. Okay, but anyway, you just to open and see whether the course is applicable for you. So such kind of information also I will share it over here. If you have any comments, you can even share the comments. Okay, whether it is applicable for you or it is not applicable for you. So based upon that, I will be sharing some information about here. It will be useful to you. Okay. So yeah, let's move on to our class on storage area networks. So storage area networks is quite a for now one of the faster growing segments of data communication. And the storage area networks, it has to meet, okay, it just has to meet the requirements. Okay, so we are going to store the mass storage of data for websites, email, and this is also because even for the large companies they need some storage. Not only for large companies, even now every individual, okay, they need every individual, they need, many kind of things. Okay, so where we can able to understand that, where whatever the things which we do. Okay, so in this particular thing, we want to understand the important cases. Okay, so the governments also need some storage for backup storage, some disaster recovery, and retention of files for the government regulations. Such as Sarban. So this is one of the regulation, government regulation by United States. So for making the backup storage of all the things. So add to that the growing use of databases for every consumable need, and the result is a need clarity because so where we need to have a large disk drivers. Okay, so storage system we have to create and hold this massive resources and the special networks to be developed and the communication system to be developed to access from the storage and the data to the storage. Okay, so even if you take a overhead tank in your house, the water tank, so even you want to ensure that the water tank is filled. When the water tank is overflowing, you have to see. Similarly, the data storage is also like a water tank. When the data storage is overflowing, what will happen? There will be a leakage of data. Okay, we have to ensure that the data is not leaked. Okay, so the early storage systems were made up of some external disk drivers that was not inside the PCs or servers. Okay, so those drivers, what they will do, they will connect it to the PC or server by way of some kind of transmission line. We call as SCSI. We call as a SCSI interface. That's called as a small computer storage interface. And a formalized set of binary commands will be allowed the computer to control the disk drives to store or access the data. So over the years, the parallel bus become the faster and faster, and also we can say that the distance by which the data is transmitted is declined to several feet with increased speed. So it has to consider two things. One is the speed, one is all the distance. That is the problem statement. Okay, speed and as well as the distance. So this form of the data storage is referred to as DAS. We call as a direct attached storage. This DAS we are still using today. Okay, with more flexible systems and also the fast serial data transfer are all available. So one of the new things we are using is network attached to storage. That is called NAS. So DAS and NAS are the things. Okay, it is used for the storage networks. So these are made up of a RAID, that's called as a redundant array of independent disks, or just a bunch of disks. Okay, so where the disks are used to store the data. So these large box of disk drivers will connect to the PC by the way of installed Ethernet and local area network. And these things, we call as these the storage will be assigned an IP address, so the data can be accessed in the file format. So anyone connected to the net, that particular LAN can access the data if authorization is provided. So very large storage should be needed by storage area networks. So they use the RAIDs, JBoards connected to SAN, that is the server area networks, okay, database servers. Okay. So next slide, I'm going to show you the typical arrangement. So all the various user PCs or workstations are connected to the LAN using the Ethernet. So you should understand, okay, your PC is connected to the local area network, and along with the Ethernet, all these things are working for an application for data transfer and data storage. Okay, so to which all the servers, like a server for mail, data, or application specific server are attached. This is the way how the storage area network works. So this is called as your LAN. Okay, and this is called as your PC connected to your LAN. Okay, and then this LAN is connected to the internet, mail server, application server, database server, and then another one database server. And all these servers will be connected to the server area network. You see, local area network, that's what we are using in our house or offices. And these servers, they will be connected to the server area network. Okay. So in the SCSC systems, this can be an enterprises or the fiber backbone, or the fiber channel systems. This is a separate fiber optic network. And this server area network will be connected to the RAID or JPOINT, what we are discussing now. There's a tape drive or disk systems. This is the way how the storage area networks will work. This is called like a web. You can able to see how the connection is made as a web. Okay, so this is the way how the interconnection of servers will work. So these servers are connected to the SAN, which is again connected to the disk storage unit. I will also soon sending you some opportunities for you in MATLAB. Okay, so when I was in United States, I usually visit this place. Okay, I will take you now. Okay, this is called Matrix. This is the place. Okay. So I'll be so there's a thing where you can able to say that there's a place. Okay. So very soon I will be sending you some information about how to find jobs in MathWorks. So you can see this is a fascinating building where the people MathWorks is a software. Okay, where you can able to download the software over here, and you can do. Okay, this is in the head office. Okay, so where it is located in this a headquarters. Okay, it is located in Natick and Massachusetts. That's a 20 miles west of Boston. Okay, this is in the eastern place of United States. Okay, so where you can able to see that consisting of everything, and then you can able to see. I will also make you some students to be get interested to work with MathWorks. Okay, see, as a teacher, only the course handling is not my job. Okay, I want to make you to explore to various things. Okay, so once you enter into this location, you can able to see how the life will be. Okay, so how the things. So I want some people who are interested to work with MathWorks. Okay, you send your willingness. Okay, because my students, nearly around 7 students of mine, they are working here. Okay, few are working in the different places, and 9 students are working in the headquarters. They are working in the Natick. So I can refer some people for internships. Even you can find the jobs and apply directly, or else through referral program, I can able to see. You can able to see the current internships. Okay, so there will be multiple internships are going on in the Natick Center. Okay, so where you can go for a sales intern, documentation intern, undergrad intern. Okay, so you can directly can able to apply here, or else I can able to make my students to refer you people, and even you can able to join this talent network. Okay, like this, year after until we close our classes, I will be exploring you with various companies, various organizations, where you peoples can fly to US to Boston, and you can able to work with this an excellent location. Okay, so those who are interested, you can contact me, or even the Google Classroom is fine. Okay, if you're not able to mail me, that's anything is fine. Now let us see that. The reason why I'm telling when I visited this MathWorks, because throughout the world, all the people they're using this software. So I got a chance to visit the storage area networks of MATLAB. You see, they have to store the work files done by the people across the world. Just to imagine how the server will look like. It occupies a very big building. Okay, in order to occupy the servers, because it has to connect it to, because that will be like a SAN. There's a server area network. Okay, so that is the reason when I was seeing this SAN, I was talking. I thought to take you to a virtual tour to MathWorks. Okay, even if you are free, you just Google it out, the MathWorks, and you can able to see what people they are doing there, what software they are preparing, and how this software is changing the entire world. You've been able to see. Okay. So these fiber optic connections are used in the SAN into the servers, but in some cases they are even using the twisted pair. So that's what the while we are discussing about our chapter on transmission line, we have discussed about on the servers on the twisted pair cables. So with this arrangement, any PC or any workstation can be having the access in the any disk system and establish the backup files. So that access may actually be via the internet. So SANs, they are used the block transfer of data, block transfers instead of file transfers. File transfers means the individual file. That is what I'm sending as assignment. Block means there is a fixed size blocks of data. Okay, so they will be transferred. So the connection between the servers and the SAN is made usually with a fiber optic network. We call that as a FC fiber. So the newly connection is called as a IZZ. Okay, so that is used only for the Ethernet LAN plus Ethernet switches. So the fiber channels, it was standardized by ANSI in 1980. So they'll be using the fiber optic layer and is useful for the connecting the computers in the form of loop or ring or point to point through switches. And early kind of fiber optic cables, they will be transmitting some few hundred megabits to now they're transmitting to Gbps, more Gbps. So very high data rate is essential. Okay, so this fiber cable, it defines the pair of fiber optic cables, one for transmit, one for receiving. And the dimension of the fiber optic cable will be up to 50 to 62.5 micrometer in diameter, and their longer range will vary from 10 kilometers to 40 kilometers. And even if you want to convert the kilometer to miles, the miles will be quite greater than kilometers. And they even use for the short range systems using the 850 micrometer infrared transmitters, and they can use the either 1310 micrometer laser transmitters. So this protocol defines the packet 2148 byte packets transmitted with 8 byte or 10 byte coding. Okay, so you should understand the difference between bit byte. Okay, so 8 bits will take 1 byte. Okay, 4 bytes, or we'll just talk about on the 32 byte. CRC is used for error detection. So the actual transmission speeds may differ. Okay, so the future rates is even go up to 28.05 Gbps. The speed is a connection speed, not the data transfer speed. So the connection will be from fiber optic cable. So the interface will be made through host bus bar adapter. So this HBA with plugs and storage unit called RAID and JBOD. So the connections are direct, point to point, or can link. Now there are more number of connections are made, which we normally called as a switch fabric. So is packaged into the box with the fiber optic cables. And the entire unit is called FC switch. It appears like a SAN cloud. So now the new word comes as a cloud. What does mean by a cloud? A cloud is, it is a virtual storage medium. It's a cloud. Okay. So where each and every cloud will be assigned their own IP. So the forthcoming classes, I will be also explaining you about this Internet of Things, IoT. At that time, I will be discussing more on the cloud. Okay. So this cloud arrangement will make any server or any disk to connect to any. Okay. So the thing is that you need to have only the address. That's all. You can connect to any other. So it will permit even up to 224 devices to be get connected. The advantage is, it is security is the advantage. Okay. But it is not connected to the LAN or internet. It is essentially, it is useful, immune to outside hacking. Okay. To virus or spam or any attacks. These are the attacks that will normally associate with the internet. So it is completely separate from any other connections to be get much more secure. So this FC systems will also communicate to other systems over the long distance over another protocol. We call that as a fiber channel over internet protocol, which was developed by IETF. That's called Internet Engineering Task Force. So this protocol is anything that makes a frame into packets and transmits through the transmit control protocol or internet protocol. So multiple FC SANs, can be interconnected. And another arrangement we call as an internet fiber channel protocol, which allows FC SANs to be linked with the standard routers. So the switch or the router will become the gateway that takes the place of an empty switch. So now let us talk about on the Internet SCSI. What is meant by SCSI? That's called as the system SAN connection systems Internet. Okay. So where we can able to see that this FC, the fiber cable, is used more than 90%. Because why we are using the fiber cables? Because of the speed, flexibility, reliability, and main downside. Okay. So it uses the standard of the shelf Ethernet components and software so widely available. So this system is also a standard by IETF, that's the International Electronics and Telecommunication Forum. It uses some command and same command and protocol developed for the parallel bus systems. It uses a serial data transfers over Ethernet. This figure shows how the data access operation in the SCSA LAN, ISCSA LAN. You see, initiator is there. It goes on application. Whatever let be the application. Let us say that one of the application is I'm going to design a circuit. It's an application. It goes to the operating system. There are different types of operating systems are available. Okay. Windows, okay, Linux. They're called, or we call as a Linux or Linux operating system, and then it will go to SCSI, ICSI, then transport control protocol, internet protocol, and then reaches to the Ethernet. So there is a data flow. Once the data then reaches to the LAN network, MAN network, and WAN network. What is LAN? Local area network. And MAN, that is called as your metropolitan area network. WAN, wide area network. Okay, and then to receive the data or to store the data, either store or receiving. This process is reversed. Okay, it goes to the internet, IP, TCP, ICSI, SCSI, operating system, and then application. That is a target. So this is a data flow. So the data will be transferring from the application and from the initiator, and then it reaches as target application. This is the way how the storage area networks will the data flow takes place. So the PC, they will notify the server, and the server operating system will provide some command. So this protocol will be implemented, and then the packets are transmitted. So it's usually installed by wiring with the Ethernet routers cables, and the connection will be from MAN or WAN. And the receiving end will be using this RAID or JPOD. The process will be reversed for the receiving end. Okay. So the NICs used the servers and the RAID voice system on standard interfaces. It will be incorporated with the TCP IP. There's a special. There will be a special processes to handle this TCP IP operations. Okay, which will speed up all the operations. The primary benefit will be the lower cost. This disadvantage will be there will be some insecurity problem. Okay, that is hacking or virus. Okay, we have to take use with some security software and data encryption methods, but these usage of add-ons will increase the cost and greatly slow down all the transmission operations. Now let us talk about on the internet security. It's a very important one. We talked about on the storage. Now we are moving across to the security. So the security means how the data to be transmit secure. Okay. I want to protect the data from interception and protecting the sending the data parties from the unwanted threats like virus and spam. And it will protect the equipment and software used in the networks. So the internet or any connected computer is subject to threats by hackers, individuals, who try to steal the data. Okay, just for a challenge. So prior to the internet, the computer security was limited. The security they provided only for sensitive equipments, like government or military. They provided the security, but now every individual needs the security. And some large companies they use the security measures to transfer critical data. Each and every organizations they want the security to protect the computer and also to protect the data. Okay. So now we can see that the internet is greatly expanded in the development of security measures. So wireless networks are very vulnerable to hacker attacks. Okay, because we know that the wireless communication we are using the radio waves. This radio waves can be easily picked up, can be used by anyone with an appropriate receiver. Okay, so they use the wireless system has been developed and widely developed. Has been developed and widely deployed. Okay, so many security measures are made and implemented in software. Some security techniques can also be implemented with the chips, so with some ICs. So the most common form of threat is the ability of the hacker, okay, who can hack your network, and you can able to literally read the data that is going to transmit it. Some type of connections, what they will do, they prevent the disk files to be accessed, email files they read, they modify the data, they will be adding some unwanted data. Okay, there are so much of huge ways by which the data can be read or stolen or compromised or corrupted. So we'll see the threats one by one. The first threat is called virus. Okay, what is called as a virus? Virus, it is a program. It is not a device or it is not an individual. It is a program. Okay, this program, I'm going to write a program. Okay, and I'm adding this virus in my program, and this virus will used to make some nefarious action in a computer. Okay, so it will write along with some other places of information or a program, so it can be inserted in the computer's hard drive or RAM. Okay. So earlier and all the people, they'll be using some pen drives, okay, to share the data kind of. At that time, they feel that whenever they are sharing the information from one computer to another computer, they can see their pen drive is affected by virus. Even while we're sharing some data, some things you feel that some virus will be sticking on in your files, okay, which will reduce the speed of your computer, and which will not make your software to operate properly. So the virus program is executed by the processor to do its damage. So any number of virus can be created, transmitted by they can. Some people they transmit the virus through emails. Some now even through WhatsApp they're sending the virus. Okay. Sometimes the virus arrive by ways of a Trojan horse, so some seemingly useful or innocent program that hides the virus. So this virus, what they will do, they interfere the operating systems and causing it to some unwanted things. So the virus can affect some your programs on the computer, file directory, data files, and boot programs. So by this virus, we cannot make use of our computer, and some virus can erase your program files, corrupt your files, and cause some unknown emails to be transmitted, and even take some malicious actions. Through your name, some mails will be sent. Okay. So, like a real virus, computer virus are designed to spread, okay, within the computer or to be transmitted through others in the form of emails. So these viruses are just like as worms, that is, it will automatically duplicate and transmit themselves from network to network and computer to computer. So now people are using some softwares, okay, and they are not clicking any. So now the people are having this computer literacy to protect the computer from viruses. The next important thing is we know that virus is a program, as a computer program. The next one is called spam. This is a very important recent threat, but it's not quite damaging. But you will receive some unwanted advertisements, solicitations via email. We call that as a swam. The swam clogs your email system, okay, where your important email will be get hidden. Huge quantities of unwanted data we call as a spam, and the uses a transmission line and bandwidth. So you cannot use your email in a protective way because the spam occupies more space, and some important email from an industry for an internship offer, many people will be missing because of the spam. We know the spam is not legal, but you should remove the spam by yourself, thereby by making using your valuable time, not to mention memory space of your email system. Another important security threat is a spyware. Spyware means it's a software. We say virus is a program, whereas spyware is a software. What this person will do, it will monitor a computer. Even I am using some spyware. You can see here. I hope students can see my spyware over here. You can see this is spyware. What this man will be doing, he will be monitor the attendance. So since you can able to understand that, we are having some 50 students, but we are getting only 37 students. Okay, so that will be monitored by this spyware. Okay, so I can show you what is happening for this particular case. Okay, so I can show you here. So the spyware will be sharing the information to me every day. You can see the Monday class, okay, the Monday class, so the last week, so you can able to see that, the spyware will send the information. So along with your names, okay, at what time you came inside, like at what time you can see came inside, and how much of time you remain in the class, okay, and we can see that how many students are available, okay. Some students were in the class only for some time. I don't want to show this, but I can say that this is also one of the spyware, okay, which will be add on with the Google Chrome, because it reduces our time. We are not using it for any wrong purpose, okay. We are not taking any kind of privacy. It's just to monitor that it reduces the time of the faculty, because previous times, in 2021, when I want to take attendance, I want to call out each and every student. Some student mic will work, some student mic will not work, okay. Or else what I will do, I will take some screenshots, okay. To avoid that, from our university itself, they asked us to make use of this version, to make some add-on, okay. So this Google Meet attendance link will be get added. So at the end of the class, this person will give me the report, who are all the people, who are all the students are present for this particular class. So at the end of the semester, we want to submit it to the university, so the university can know, how many students are regular to the classes, kind of, okay. So that is one of the part of the spyware. It collects the data, okay. But this spyware, some data, the spyware is available. It will use us how you are accessing the website, shopping, okay. So because some spyware, what they will do, whenever you are accessing the shopping website, it collects your information, which product you are looking for. So based upon that, the spyware will send the information to that companies, and you'll be receiving so much of ads and spam. You'll be get really wondered, how do the spam people, how do this ad people, they know that I want to purchase this particular shoe. For an example, you want to purchase a shoe, but you does not know how these people are knowing. But there is a spyware. Whenever you are going to make a travel plan to US, okay, so you are checking that what are the places to visit and everything. But the very next day, you will be receiving so many emails that, flight tickets to US, and then what are the hotels to stay in US, and what are the places to be visited in US, who is the travels. You'll be getting really wondered, because no, you have not even sent this information to anyone. You just searched your website, but it is already a spyware. So these are some of the dangerous practices where some spyware, what they will do, they capture the credit card numbers, delivery of unsolved pop-up ads, and capture some browsing activity, and transmission to a person or a company for use unauthorized promotions. The other security threat is that denial of service attack. This attack, what they will do, they will transmit errors in the communication, and this error will make the computer to crash or hang up. So this kind of the DOS will not steal information, but what it will do, it will prevent the user from accessing the operating systems, programs, data files. That is, we call that your computer is completely hanged up. This is one of the attack that serves no useful purpose. It is only to hurt the people. It will be get something like it will be get okay, but it will make you something like hurt. One special type of DOS attack is called smurfing. What is meant by smurf attack? So it will make the servers with a huge number of worthless packets. Thereby, what it will do, it will prevent other subscribers from using that. Smurfing makes use of technique called pinging. So ping is the transmission of inquiry by the way, how this ICMP is a part of to see if particular computer is connected to internet and it's quite active. So which are the computers getting active? It sends the overwhelming packets, and the important packets will be get hidden. That's called denial of service. So in response to the ping, what will happen? The computer sends back a message that is connected. So what the hackers will do, they substitute their own address for the return message. So it's getting repeatedly transmitted, thus tying up with the system. So how to make some security, we'll discuss in our Friday class. So that's all, students, for the today class. So the today takeaway message of the today class is going to be like how to use the internet. Security measures we'll be discussing in our next class. So here you can able to understand that how the data packets are transferred and how the storage is made in the internet system and what are the various threats in the internet system. So in the next class, we are going to discuss how to overcome these threats. Okay, by that we are completing the internet systems, and then we are moving on to the satellite by next week. Okay, so as I already mentioned you, the next week Tuesday will be our activity. I'll be sharing some interesting activity for you. Okay, stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a great week ahead. We'll meet on Friday. Thank you, students. Thank you all.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you.